Hello and welcome to the 16th lesson of the AGR SketchUp course. In today's lesson, we're going to learn how to use the arrow keys inside of SketchUp. Arrow keys is very useful for drawing your models easier. So it can be used for the line command, for the arc, rectangle, circle, and also for the move, rotate, and also for the tape measure tool. So let's dive in and see what we can do with the arrow keys inside of SketchUp. So for example, if we want to draw a line, we could just press the L key on our keyboard and then just click. And now if we wanted to go through the red direction or in the red axis, we could just press the right arrow key. And when I press the right arrow key, it will lock in the red axis. So I can now just type a value, for example, 5, and then press the Enter key. And then I could, if I want in the green direction, I could just press the left arrow key and then type a value of 4 maybe. And then again, press the right arrow key and then type a value of maybe 3. And then press the left arrow key, type a value of 4. And then press the right arrow key to lock it in the red direction. And then click on this point, the end point over here. And then I could just click to confirm this shape. And I could just, if I wanted in the blue direction, I could just click and then hit the up arrow key. And I could type a value like 4 and then go in the green direction, hit the left arrow key and then click on this endpoint. And then we could just move down and just click over here. So you can see how easy it is to use the arrow keys inside of SketchUp. So we now know how to use the red, blue, and green arrows inside of SketchUp, but what about the down arrow? So for example, if we have like a sloped line over here, and if we want to have like a perpendicular or a parallel line with this line, then we could just draw a line, hit L on keyboard, and then just click. And you can see when I hit the down arrow key, it will be locked as a parallel to that line. And if I hit the down arrow again, you can see that it turns into the perpendicular line to the line that we drew, the sloped line that we drew. And if I press the down arrow key a third time, it will just let go or unlock from the perpendicular or the parallel line to the line that we have. So let me just draw a line like this. And then if we have like several lines, maybe something like this. And if we want to have like a line parallel to this line or to this line, we could just click once and then hover our cursor on that line and then press the down arrow key, and this will create a parallel line to the line that we have made a reference to. And if I press the down arrow key again, it will create a perpendicular. You could see that from the view that we had over here, this was not actually parallel because it was a little bit sloped in the blue direction. So this would not be visible from this view. And this is now perpendicular to the line that we have over here. Or maybe we want to have it like for this line, we could just click and then hover our cursor to this line, and now we could just press the down arrow key. Now this will be parallel to that line, or even perpendicular to that line. Okay, so now let's move on. The next tool that we can use the arrow keys for is the rectangle. So I will press R on keyboard, and you can see that when I press the right arrow key, this will be locked in the red direction or in the red axis. It will be perpendicular. You can just create a plane perpendicular to the red arrow key. And I can just click and drag to create that face. So you can see that it's the face is parallel to the blue and the green axis. Or I could just click and press the left arrow key, And now we can just create a face which is parallel to the red and the blue axis, and it will be perpendicular to the green axis. Or we could just press the up arrow key, and this will create a face in the red and green axis. So let's now move on to rotate this face. I will just move it over here and then hit Q on keyboard. And then now I want it to rotate in the green direction. So I will hit the left arrow key and I will place the base of the rotation on this point, on this end point. And I will just click and rotate this face like this. And now this has just rotated 60 degrees like this. And now we could also create a rectangle which is like parallel to this face. So I will just hover my cursor on this face and then press the down arrow key. And you can now see that it turns into pink, and now I can just click wherever I want inside of the SketchUp modeling space, and then just click to draw a face which is parallel to the face that we drew. The thing is that we cannot create a perpendicular rectangle to the face that we want, so this is not possible. It would just be possible for the line to create like a perpendicular line to a line that we needed. So this can be only used to create parallel faces. Alright, so let's now move on to the next tool, which is rotate tool, and we could use the arrow keys for the rotate tool. So we could just like hit Q on keyboard or select, let me select a face. So for example, we want to rotate this face. I could press the Q on keyboard and then hit the right arrow key. And now I could just click and click once again to rotate this face like this in the red direction. And we could also use it in the blue direction. So if we want to like rotate this one, we could just hit Q and then hit the up arrow key and then click over here and then rotate this line as needed. And also we could just rotate something according to a face. So for example, I could just select this line and hit Q, and we could just hover our cursor on this face and then hit the down arrow key, and this will be locked in this direction. And now I can just click and rotate this line according to that face that we have over here. So for example, if we want like if we have maybe a 3D volume like this, and then let me group it once, and if I want to rotate it according to this face, then I would just hit Q and then hover my cursor on this face and then hit the down arrow key, and now I would just click on this origin in the group and I will just rotate it according to that face. So the next thing that we can use the arrow keys for is for the move tool. So I could just double click on this face and hit M on keyboard, and we could just hit the right arrow key to lock it in the red direction, or the left arrow key to lock it in the green direction, or even the blue arrow key or the up arrow key to lock it in the blue direction. And we could also move it according to like a sloped line or like parallel to a line. So we could just click over here and then hit the down arrow key. So now we don't have like any reference. Or if we copy this face and then hover our cursor to this line, and now I could just press the down arrow key, and you can see that it will be like parallel to this line, and we could just move and create a copy of this like over here, and then type a value of like x5, and this will copy this face 5 times in this direction. Or we could just make a parallel, so we could just hit M and then click over here, and or let me just make it like this, hover my cursor on this line and then hit the down arrow key once and twice, and this will move the face parallel or perpendicular to the face that we have, or to the line that we have. So I could just click and then type a value like x10 or x5. And now you can see that we just copied these according to the sloped face that we have over here. Right, let me move these faces backwards a little bit. And now we want to see what else we can use the arrow keys for. The next tool that we can use the arrow keys is the tape measure tool. So we can just click on this tape measure tool and then click on this line, and you can see that it will go in the green direction, or we could just press the left arrow key and it will be locked in the green direction, or we could just hit the up arrow key and it will be locked in the blue direction. So it will be very useful, and it will make our modeling process very simple and very fast. So you could just click and then hit any direction that you want. Right for red, left for green, and up arrow for blue. And also we could just use the down arrow key. So for example, we could just hover our cursor on this line maybe, and then hit the down arrow key, and you can see that it's now it will create a dashed pink line, and this will be parallel to the line that we have over here. Or if I press the down arrow key again, it will be perpendicular to the line. Or maybe we could just hover over here and then hit the down arrow key, and you can see that it will, let me move it again over here and then hit the down arrow key, and you can see that it's now moving in this direction. And this is something that we couldn't have done precisely if we would want to use like the axis that we had. So for example, if we wanted to create lines according to red, blue, green, we would just need to move it twice. So we would need to move it up once and then move it another time in the green direction to create something like this, a line like this. So this can be very useful when creating a guideline in 3D space. So for example, if we had the stairs that we drew in the previous session, let me create a point 10 over here and in the green direction, or let me hit the right arrow key and then type 0.03 and then hit the blue arrow and type 0.05 and then hit the right arrow key and type 0.33, and this will create that stair. And we could just click and copy this stair x9. Let me just move this line to 2 meters and then create the slope line for the stairs. And now I could just hit the tape measure tool and then click, and we could just hit the up arrow key, and this will be locked in the blue direction, so we don't need to have the pink or perpendicular to the line to create that line. So this will be a very fast way to create that guideline. So I could just now type a value of 0.3 and press the enter key, and this will be exactly 30 centimeters from the stairs that we had. So I can now just create a line over here, 0.3, and then move my cursor, create a line over here, and then create a line over here. So it's very important to keep in mind that the arrow keys only works for the lines, but it will not work for the guidelines. So it's very important to remember this. So if I press the down arrow key now, it will not do anything. I need to just hover my cursor on this guideline, and then when it says online, I could just click to confirm this line. And then I would just click on this point and then move my cursor in the red direction and then click over here, and we could just delete these extra lines and then just push-pull this face. So this will create that stair for us. So the next thing that we can use the arrow keys for is for the circle. So we could just press the C on keyboard, or for the polygon tool, it doesn't make any difference. So you could just press the right arrow key and it will create a circle in this direction, and press the left arrow key, create a circle in this direction, and press the up arrow key, create a circle in this direction. Or even we could just create a circle according to a sloped face. So we could just hover our cursor on this face and then press the down arrow key. And now I could just, let me move it again on this face and then hit the down arrow key. Or let me move it on this face, hit the down arrow key, or let me select this face. I don't know why it doesn't work right now. Okay, I hit the down arrow key again, and then it turned it off, and then it would give it another reference. I don't know why it was locked on this face. So I hit the down arrow key again, and then once more to lock it with this face, so I can now create a sloped circle like this. And also I could just hover my cursor on this face now again, and then create a circle according to that face. It's parallel to that face. And we could also use it for the arc tool, so we could just click and lock it in the red direction by hitting the right arrow key, and then just click over here, and then we could just create it in the green direction, or if we want it in the blue direction, you can see that it's it doesn't lock in the blue direction. And if we hit the up arrow key, you can see it's very easy to create that arc in this way. And also, if we want to have it like perpendicular or parallel to a line, we could just click and then hover our cursor on this line and then hit the down arrow key, and now this will be in this direction. And if we want to have it the arc perpendicular to that line, or if we have it like this, and we would just hover our cursor on this line and then press the down arrow key. Okay, it says that constraint not appropriate at this time, so it will not create a parallel arc with this line. So if we press the down arrow key again, it will just create a perpendicular arc to this line. So these are the main tools that we can use the arrow keys for. So this concludes the 16th lesson of the AGR SketchUp course. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.